apparently the next From Software game, Elden Ring Night Reign, is removing the message feature. So that feature where you walk over and you see bloodstains and they got a message on the floor saying like, oh, treasure this way, and it's really just a cliff for you to jump off, that's not gonna be in the game no more. I don't really know if that's a W or a L, but I'm guessing the reason why they're kind of changing that is because from the descriptions I've been seeing of this game, basically the way that this game is going to be is it's not going to be static. Like, it's never going to be, oh, the map is this one way, if you go here there's something here and that's it. Like, no, it's supposed to be a more dynamic map than in other previous games. So I'm guessing that's what it's for, but it could be something else. I don't know. Let's look through it. Blah blah blah. Players in Elden Ring Night Reign won't be able to leave messages, which dates back to Demon Souls. Speaking to Igen Japan director Ishizaki, my brain is too tired to pronounce that right now. Let me take a sip of water, bro. Let me take some water. Let me take a shot of this water. Go ahead, wake my brain up a little bit. Probably has something to do with the fact that one thing I ate today was toast. I'm too lazy to make anything. Anyway, the reason you can still see the ghosts of other players, but the ability to leave messages has been removed. The reason we removed the message feature is that in this game, where each session is about 40 minutes long, there is no time to write your own message and no time to read messages written by others. That's the reason? Because y'all, you think we don't got time to write messages? Like, dog, what? People wasn't out here writing the whole paragraphs, writing essays and stuff like that. People was doing this. That's how long that's what people would do, jump off this cliff for a rare item. So you're saying in 40 minutes I can't take 3 seconds to type something out? I don't know if that message makes sense. It gotta be something deeper than that. Another significant change is that currently, according to the developers, foes defeated in battle won't respawn where the player rests at when the player rests at a grave site when it's spelled wrong. In the Souls games, players trade off the ability to heal and save their game information at certain checkpoints for the downside of all minor enemies respawning. Oh, I get what they're saying. So like, all right, for those of you who don't play traditional Souls games and you don't understand what that is. So bosses and stuff like that, once you go over there, you beat them up, they don't respawn, right? But like the basic enemies, like the minions before you get to the boss, they respawn no matter what, whether you beat the boss or not. So I'm not understanding why. I'll probably understand when I play it, but basically what they're saying is that they will respawn, that they won't respawn in the online mode. That's kind of interesting, because like, how are you supposed to farm for XP and stuff like that if they don't respawn? Foes defeated in battle won't respawn when the hey, I can hear you. Hey, stop that. That's nasty. When a player rests out of sight of grace in the Souls games, players trade out blah 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 blah. Announced at the Game Awards, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's it. He just said you niggas ain't gonna have time to write. So like, if there's still graces and stuff like that, that means there's gonna be down periods, rest moments. That's number one. Number two, the way it's described, it's supposed to be a get on, play for a little while, get off game. So, like, if we're having 40-minute sessions, right? Is it just going to be 40 minutes of you getting beat the fuck up? Because, like, what do you mean we don't have enough time to write a message? Like, and when I used to play Fortnite, there used to be times where my teammates will land on another side of the map and I'll land on one side of the map to get something specific, and I'll go meet them in the middle. So to say that people won't have time, and in Fortnite matches can run up to like 30 minutes plus on a light run where like you die early in, it's like I don't know about that. I don't know. That reason to me doesn't make sense. I feel like it's got to be something stronger and more significant than that. Because if that's solely the reason, I don't get it. That must mean this game, you are going, if the sessions are supposed to be 40 minutes, you are getting your ass beat for 39. That's the only thing I can get out of this statement. For 39 minutes straight, you're gonna be sitting here dodge rolling, slicing and dicing, and hoping you don't get your shit clapped or you die in a circle. And that's another question I have: is the circle going to hurt enemies? But something that I do. I'm trying to do my transition. Something else I do have questions about is the gameplay of Naughty Dog's next game franchise, which they're saying this game kicks it off. And we're about to get some answers in this article. With the sci-fi, PS5, blah, 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 wildest, most creative, and deepest gameplay yet. Yeah, they keep saying deep gameplay, but for Naughty Dog, they haven't had gameplay that was that deep. So, like, the fuck is... Like, for them, gyro ADS could be deep. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know about deepest gameplay. Because, like, even in The Last of Us, like, even when you put it on higher difficulties, like, all right, the difficulty slider in The Last of Us is how much do I want to turn on stealth? Because when you put The Last of Us and on any difficulty above normal, all that is 5 people right here. Bow, bow, bow. I'm a shootout and have a shootout in the middle of all. That don't exist anymore. Because once you dump your clip, guess what? Click, click, click. Ain't no more bullets. Guess what you gotta do? You gotta creep around in the grass. Gotta look left. Gotta look right. You gotta choke them while nobody's looking. Make sure you choke them out in the optimal spot. You gotta creep, and you gotta do that to all 15 of the guards in this area. So it's like, bro, the gameplay in that game is really just a patience game. It's not really deep. Like, for example, a Metal Gear Solid or something like that, where they had, like, I was watching a video essay by Mudahar, somewhat in their game is Mudahar, basically, where he was talking about Metal Gear Solid either 2 or 3. No, 2. He was talking about Metal Gear Solid 2, and he was describing how in that Metal Gear game, there's a system where the guards aren't necessarily like, oh, if the guards basically in that game have walkie-talkies that they every once in a while do a check-in on. So they basically go, hey yo, Johnson in Division A, you good? Johnson in Division A hits back, yeah, we good. Basically, if you go in Division A and you take out everybody, and the head control room gets on the walkie-talkie, hey yo, Johnson, in Division A, you good? Hey yo, Johnson. Pause, but hey yo, Johnson. Yeah, go to Division A. Johnson ain't respond. I called for him 3 times. Go check over there. And now, whereas before you might have took out everybody in that section, and if you go to the next section, nobody would have been alert. And like the first game and the second game, because they have that system, once you go from section A to section B, people are alert now. People are looking for you. People are trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. They don't really know that they're looking for you, but they know they're looking for something that's taking out everybody. So like, The Last of Us doesn't have any systems on that level of complicated or difficult where they'll call each other and say, oh, section, like, no. Like, they do have stuff where people will yell out, yo, let's say the person's name is Watson, like, yo, Watson down, somebody's around here killing our men, watch out, and they'll go on higher alert. But it's not the same as like what I described with Metal Gear Solid. Like, it's a very, very basic system. So for them, deep doesn't really require being that deep. A simpler way to say it, which I should have thought of this first. A simpler way to say it is, if you're used to swimming in 1-foot kiddie pools where you're basically laying on the ground doing like this, getting wet in a puddle, of course when you go to a 3 feet pool, that's gonna seem like it's way deeper. Cause yeah, it's 3 times deeper than what you're used to. But a regular pool is supposed to be 5 feet and go up to 10 feet. Then a pool is just a closed, controlled environment that got a lifeguard sitting at the edge watching in case anybody start drowning. You go in the ocean and you start drowning, shoulder shrug. That's just the circle of life, boy. Like, you're cooked, my boy. You're sinking to the bottom of the ocean and you're going to be food for one of them bottom of the ocean scavengers. You're probably going to get eaten by a shrimp or something like that. So it's like, for Naughty Dog, deeper or deepest ever isn't really hard to achieve for them. Like, they could put a fucking a real skill tree in the game, and that's deep for them. Because The Last of Us 1 gameplay had like no depth. Last of Us 2 still has no depth, but because you had 3 skill trees, it was more depth than the first one. Because it's a lot of mechanics that in the first Last of Us exist that they never explain to you. Like, for example, in the first Last of Us, you could get item parts. So instead of getting a full bottle of alcohol, you might get a bottle of alcohol and it's only 1/3 full with alcohol. So now you have 1/3 of an alcohol slot. Like, that sounds more confusing than it is, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you could get parts of parts. So instead of getting, you get what I'm saying. That mechanic is in both the second game and in the first game. It's just in the first game, they never tell you that. They kind of just say, hey, figure it the fuck out, gang. And they just give you no hints to this. No on-screen dialogue, no indicators of anything. So again, the thing I really want to stress is I want to know what the fuck do they mean by deep. Because deep gameplay systems, to me, is stuff like how I saw that skill tree in Path of Exile 2 look. That's deep. The way that you have to respec your characters to use certain weapons and to play certain play styles in Elden Ring, that's deep. Deep for them would be Rise of the Ronin. Deep for them would be Spider-Man 2. And Spider-Man 2 didn't have that deep customization or nothing, so you get my point. But it debuted with a generous 4.5-minute trailer, blah blah blah. Neil Druckmann is helming the project with co-director Kurt. In an announcement blog, Naughty Dog says that it is shaping up to be our wildest, most creative story yet. Deepest gameplay, taking our learnings. Jordan is played by Tati Gabrielle. It seems to be okay. This feels like a nothing sandwich ass. I got to yap about my thoughts on that still though, so I guess net positive. But yeah, I really like. I'm waiting to see some gameplay of this game. I am desperately want to see like some real breakdown gameplay of this game, because I want to see if this game is like another action adventure slasher, if it's like a Soulsbourne type game, if they're going like with the current gaming meta, so to speak, and saying, hey, everybody else is making a Souls game and having success with it. Fuck it, why don't we make a Souls game and see if we can have success with it? I should have looped this in the background while I was talking about it, but oh well. We definitely will see. Something else I do want to talk about when it comes to seeing is how Call of Duty wants to see your personal information when it comes to skill-based matchmaking. Now, I'll break it down to y'all like this.